Foreign Affairs of Germany. I now give the floor to Her Excellency Thorgerdur Katrín Gunnarsdóttir, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Iceland.
Madam President, Excellencies, at the heart of the UN Charter lies a simple but powerful principle: the dignity and worth of the human person. It is a reminder that the international cooperation is not about institutions for their own sake, but about people, ordinary people whose lives are freer, safer, and more prosperous when nations choose cooperation over confrontation, dignity over domination, rules over force. This vision, born in San Francisco 80 years ago, must remain our compass. Without it, our world would be less free, less just, and far less secure. For Iceland, a small state whose independence and prosperity depend on respect for international law, the rules-based order has been nothing short of essential. And sadly, these very foundations are under siege. Fundamental principles of self-determination and equal rights for all nations are increasingly being undermined and even deliberately abandoned. We see paralysis in the Security Councils, contempt for international law, and a disturbing rise in isolationism and big power politics. This, in turn, contributes to a decline in the public's trust in a system that has brought us so much in the past 80 years. This erosion of the rules-based international order is deeply, deeply dangerous. A world not governed by rules will be a world where the strong impose their will and the weaker, they will pay the price. This may appeal to those who possess such power. There are clear indications that it does, but that is a world we cannot and should not accept. Madam President, Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine is not only a blatant violation of the UN Charter, it is a direct assault on this organization itself. And the fact that the aggressor sits on the Security Council entrusted with upholding peace is nothing short of obscene. Ukraine is not only bravely fighting for its independence and survival, but also defending the very, very values that the United Nations were founded upon: sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the right of all nations to live in peace and to live in freedom. Unfortunately, despite Ukraine's clear willingness and committed efforts by the United States and Europe, the path to peace has not advanced. As the past few weeks have shown, Russia does not want peace. Instead, the Kremlin accelerates brutal attacks on civilians and critical infrastructure in Ukraine. And meanwhile, Russia's provocations over Estonia, Poland, and Romania should be of concern to all nations. And let us be clear, Russia has no intention of ending this war. It escalates, it terrorizes, it tears children from their homes. Tens of thousands of Ukrainian children have been abducted, a heinous crime, an attack on Ukraine's very, very future. If the dignity and worth of the human person mean anything, it is that these children are returned immediately. To the people of Ukraine, I say, Iceland stands with you, not only out of solidarity, but also because you are on the front lines, defending a rules-based order where law prevails over brute force. You must, dear friends, have a just and lasting peace. Dear colleagues, we must speak with equal clarity about Gaza. We are witnessing now crimes against humanity and war crimes in broad daylight. What appears before us is systematic ethnic cleansing. This needs to end. We need an immediate ceasefire, full humanitarian access, and the unconditional release of all hostages. We need peace for all the innocent people. Iceland unequivocally condemned Hamas's gruesome terrorist attack on Israel October 7th. There is no justification for such brutality, nor the taking of hostages. But nothing, and I mean nothing, can justify the collective punishment of millions of Palestinians. Starvation, bombardment, forced displacement. These acts are cruel, they are inhumane, and they are illegal. There are children dying every day in Palestine. For the past 2 years, at least one child has been killed every hour in Gaza. Every single hour. Iceland recognized Israel in 1948 and Palestine in 2011. Our position remains clear. Both peoples have equal rights to self-determination. Lasting peace depends on it. A two-state solution where Israelis and Palestinians live side by side in peace and mutual recognition remains the only viable path to peace, even if many doubts its feasibility today. If we abandon it, we abandon hope itself. Extremists and spoilers on both sides have long stood in the way of peace. Hamas has no place in the future of Palestine. And when Israeli officials call for annexation or the expulsion of Palestinians, they are not defending Israel's security. They are not defending Israel's security. They are calling for violations of international law. And we call it what it is: hateful, illegal, and a direct obstacle to peace. President Russia's aggression in Ukraine, Israel's military operations in Gaza, as well as the horrific war in Sudan, are the starkest demonstrations of deeply troubling global trend. Growing disregard for international law and multilateral commitments. We are seeing this when it comes to international courts. The opinions of the International Court of Justice, ICJ, and the International Criminal Court has been defied and targeted with punitive measures. At a time when more accountability is most needed, the very institutions that were set up to exert that accountability, they are now being actively eroded. And it pains me to see friends partake in this. This is especially alarming for small states like my own, whose very existence depends on functioning system of international law and commitments. When the powerful abandon the rules, all nations are at risk. The same applies to arms control, disarmament, and non-proliferation, with troubling erosion of long-standing commitments and the weaponization of emerging disruptive technologies. We must also recognize new challenges, global corporations that transcend borders, shaping economies, technology, and also daily life without sufficient accountability. This is a reality without precedent, and one that demands also international responses. I implore all of you, not least those representing major powers, to think about this, to ponder what kind of world we actually want to live in. I, for one, know my mind in this respect. Madam President, human rights are not optional. They are not optional. They are universal, indivisible, and fundamental to peace and prosperity. It is a matter of pride for us that Iceland is seen as a global trailblazer in terms of gender equality. 50 years ago, next month, the women of Iceland set out to strike against the systematic inequality in the so-called women's strike. This set us on a path. But no country is perfect, however, and none has achieved full equality. My government, which is led by 3 women for the first time, is committed to pushing this progress further. And on that topic, Iceland expects nothing less than to see the United Nations finally led by a woman when the next Secretary General takes office. Dear colleagues, I must speak plainly. Those who rely on democracy, human rights, and free trade, we are under pressure. Populist movements are gaining ground, and we see how disinformation and conspiracy theories spread online, corroding trust in facts, in institutions, in one another. The result is predictable: rising intolerance, especially towards marginalized groups, women, LGBTQI+ groups, and persons, minorities, people whose only crime is being who they are. And let us be clear, women are not the problem. LGBTQI+ people are not the problem. Minorities are not the problem. The problem lies with those who spread fear and division. This trend is deeply dangerous for democracy, and it is why Iceland, as a member of the Human Rights Council, will continue to speak loudly and very clearly. Equality is not negotiable. Human dignity cannot be bartered away. Freedom of expression is the cornerstone of democracy. It is also the foundation of innovation, of culture, of progress. But freedom comes with responsibility. To distort free speech into the mass production of lies, propaganda, or AI-driven disinformation is not the exercise of freedom. It's betrayal. Twisting facts into fake news, science into lies, and upending reality is an attack on truth itself. Iceland will continue to defend freedom of expression, but also to insist that it be used responsibly, not as a weapon to harm or to divide. President, as global needs are at an all-time high, we are seeing large-scale reductions in development budgets by several major donors with profound consequences for the poorest countries and the most vulnerable. Iceland, we will not follow that path. Ultimately, development cooperation is an investment in our common rights and freedom, bringing us towards a more stable, just, and a peaceful world. The climate crisis that we are certainly facing knows no borders. In the high north, where Iceland lies, temperatures are rising more than twice the global average. Glaciers retreat, permafrost thaws, oceans warm. And it is the poorest, those least responsible, who suffer then the most. For us Icelanders, renewable energy is the backbone of our security and also of our independence. And the ocean is our lifeblood, our history, our livelihood, our identity. Its health is inseparable from the fight against climate change and from the protection of biodiversity. The ocean gives, but it also takes. That shared understanding deepens our solidarity with small island states and others who are now on the front lines of sea level rise. Their reality must be faced by the entire UN membership together as a global family. Colleagues, the United Nations is not only about states and structures, it is about people, the people who work tirelessly for these organizations, often under immense pressure and even risking their own lives to uphold its ideals. To them, Iceland extends its deepest gratitude. Your dedication reminds us that the United Nations, imperfect as it is, we know that, still has a beating heart. But it is also about us here, the leaders gathered here. These are serious times that demand serious leaders as well. We cannot afford cynicism, short-termism, or the comfort of slogans. We must act with love for our people, with respect for our neighbors, and with wisdom for future generations. This is not naive. This is not naive. It is the essence of responsible leadership, and it is what the world needs from us. President, the undermining the very institutions that have advanced peace, prosperity, and human rights over the past 80 years will only deepen the challenges we face. At this critical moment, it is crucial we reverse course so that we can pass on to the future generations that we may have at times taken for granted. The world needs the United Nations, and we have to be strong as we can be. And yes, we face daunting challenges, but our story as a global community is not only of crisis, not at all. It is also one of progress. Apartheid was abolished. Extreme poverty was cut in half. Treaties were created to protect our skies and to protect our seas. These achievements remind us of what is possible when we act together. For Iceland, the choice is very clear. We will always stand for equality, for respect, for international law, and for peace, even when the tide turns against us, even when others wish these values silenced. We will not be silenced. We will keep these values alive because they are the essence of the United Nations, and they are grounded in the dignity and worth of human person. And let us revive the ideals that inspired the founders in San Francisco 80 years ago and draw on that same spirit today. Not for their sake, but for our children's sake. They deserve a world where peace, where justice, dignity, and freedom are not just words on paper, but lived realities. And that is the legacy we must leave them. Thank you so much.
I thank the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Iceland,